My Malanta. Welcome. Those of you who are awake, depending on where you are in the world, welcome. We're going to do the twin flame update for Libra. Mercury retrograde has been fun. All plans aside, I did have plans this morning to come live, but there were a few family-related hiccups this morning, so I have been seriously delayed. So apologies. The joy of Mercury retrograde. We just have to work with it, you know. And it's funny because Mercury for Libra directly is affecting the employment sector, which I think is funny, and technology, obviously. So it's like we're plodding along and we're hoping for the best. It's interesting because on the 20th, we do actually have the moon being in Libra. And even looking at the astrology, as I've mentioned previously in other videos, especially for twin flames, but collectively, we're going to have a lot of strange energy, okay? So the energy can be quite unique in the way it comes about. It can also be very, how do I put it, a change time for Libra, very heavy for Libra, especially Aries as well, because that's your shadow sign. And it can be where you're looking at the shadow aspects of yourself and, you know, what's hidden, what you are. And we do have the light and the dark in all of us. So we've got the high vibration energy and we've got the lower vibration energy, and we tend to flow with it and change. And I do know that Librans are really going through a great deal of transformations. Interesting. Okay, let's see what's coming through for your twin flame journey. Now, they have changed the settings on this. I mean, God, they've changed settings on a few things. I'm wondering why I can't see chat. Maybe it's just the way it is. What's that? I don't know. I really don't know. It's the way it is. I can't hear you talking, but I appreciate all your comments, and I'll have to go back and look at them after. They've changed the way we load videos. So I'll basically get to the gist of what's coming through. I know energetically you guys can feel something's changing. You're also being mindful enough to know that there's particular ways to deal with things, perceive things, and you're being very cautious about how you're doing that. You're also trying to hold your cool with various areas in your life, which is collective energy yet again, but very much with you guys. It's almost like you're getting to know yourself again. And I did mention this last year, even within your twin flame journey, it's like you're really changing. But your person is also changing. And so it's almost like, is that a bad thing? Is the fact that you're changing and they're changing bad? Well, it's not really, but it just causes a little bit of uncertainty and unrest between both parties. And that's directly because if energetically both of you have shifted, both of you are having your upgrade, be it you're in union or you're not, we're always changing. So the energy at the moment, very much connected to astrology, is about the fact that we have changed, but we're getting fair-based frequency. Have we changed? Is there enough I've done? Is there anything I need to do further to assist me on my path? Now, a lot of those things are going to come up, and it can be, if you're at the lower vibration energy, can be trigger points for you guys. It can also be where you're trying to rein it in and, you know, stay calm, but externally to you, there can be situations that are really coming at you and you're trying to stay as balanced as possible and see what you're spiritually connected to, what you're wanting to move towards, how you're going to fit into the actual piece of the puzzle, and how to directly look at your twin flame connection in the midst of all of those things going on. Now, what is working for you at the moment? Coming to terms with any loss and doubt that you have, maybe purging it to a point, and you know that that is the key to the situation. It's like, if there's anything that's coming up, don't get triggered and say, hey, actually, I haven't changed. Come to a place in the coming weeks, moving mid-month, to a point that the things that aren't meant to be there are going, and that's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean to say it's a person, place, or thing, but it can be directly a vibration, and it can be the way you were seeing something, the way you were feeling something. So in knowing that, you know, if you can get to a point you can just release and come to terms with loss, it can be collective energy with both you and your twin currently. It's like, what do we have? What don't we have? What do we lose? You know, and that can be within your twin flame journey as well, even just coming to terms with that. Of, you know, what did you have to leave behind and what did you lose in those hopes, dreams, and wishes when it came to the movement within your twin flame journey. But the thing is, you've got a second card that's jumped out. You had a jumper. And it's interesting because I'm not really feeling left or right. You know, no matter what, this connection is something that's always there, which is really unique, because although what is working for you within this twin flame connection and what's coming as a download is addressing the areas of loss and doubt, this card is real interesting because it's anything connected to family. It's like you're bouncing back and forward, which is similar to the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn. Family related dynamics, trigger points, you know, how to balance everything out, and at the same time being very cautious in finances. So it's literally like, it can be that you're directly dealing with Cancer, because again, with the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn, it's really correlating very similar to that, because it can have a double-sided meaning. It can feel like a double-sided sword that you're trying to balance so many things, especially since part of the aspect of this Mercury retrograde for you guys is the work sphere. So trying to balance that, trying to get family done, and everything around you is changing, but you're wondering if you've changed enough. And you're like, am I on the right path? Have I purged enough? Have I healed enough? Is there something in particular I'm supposed to be doing? And before you've even completed that one aspect of your belief system, something then is coming in to change that. So moving into the 20th, it is a time where we need to be quite flexible. Being at the 0 degree, even within the twin flame journey, it's like not enough information is there yet. It's a fresh start, but there's so many potentialities in the weeks coming that we need to be very gentle and try not to get into trigger point. We need to come to a place we can go, okay, it feels very anxious. We don't know whether we're coming or going. We don't know whether we're moving forward or moving. We're never really moving backwards. Fair-based frequency moves us backwards, but the actual dynamic of us feeling safe within the environment to commit, Libra being the scales, you are weighing up the pros and cons, but at the moment the scale's more right than left. So, and in both domains of life, they're in that same way. So it may be that you're needing to really focus on work, but it's like that, and you're thinking it is what it is, and then you're wanting to pull it back up to keep the balance, and then something shifts again. We need to be flexible at this point during the Mercury retrograde, but with the other planets and what's going on, it is a reset button. We've got Chiron and Aries. The sun with the ego is going to be in that frequency. It's also during the equinox, it's parallel with each other, being the masculine and the feminine frequency, really in their own energies. And if we have done the work, we need to come to a place we can say, okay, we're unique and wonderful in our own way. We can't lose our light. So it might be that we're coming to a place where we're looking at it going, hell no, you know, I'm not going to lose my light. What about your light? What about my light? But then you've got that compassion and understanding. So you are theoretically seeing on each other's wavelength. But to not get triggered and go back to that codependent pattern that, you know, if you're not in each other's energy, it means it is nothing. Or if it's not moving in a way you feel it is, then it is nothing. It's your parallel, you know, on the table, so to speak. It is a transformation. And then with the points of astrology reaching the 0 degree point, it's the fresh start of what we're going to need to do and what way we're going from that point forward. What's blocking you at the moment is judgment, is balance. And again, like this card falling there, work and family, you know, you're getting pulled in two directions. Potentially your twin on their side of the fences too. And, you know, what's not working is the imbalance. So at some point, something will go to the 0 degree to bring that balance back. So trust in that process that the astrology and universe is going to help you with that. Or potentially there could be conflict that will bring it to the surface to create that balance. And that can be externally or internally connected to the twin flame connection, okay? So the universe has your back. Sometimes we feel directly punished, but it's energetically trying to assist. I mean, I was having a discussion with my daughter this morning, and I spoke to her in relation to the astrology, and I said, okay, with what you're saying, this is what's happening in astrology. Look at me, look at counterpart, look at you. What are we all doing right now? And she says, really, really nervous about what's to come in the future. And I said, well, that's life, but it's very, very heavy at the moment where everyone's feeling that. So it's only natural. But we need to come to a place where we can be comfortable with that and look at it as an investment where we're assessing it just for a little bit. Some of the shadow aspect moving into April will still have that Mercury frequency. And sometimes at the tail end of it, it can be better or worse. So it really depends on how you take it. If you're swimming with the tide and you understand that you can get agitated by certain frequencies and the way things are going because you really are wanting the balance. And it's like, you know, especially being a Libra, you're wanting that balance, but we can't bring it in. It's a team effort. It's a universal effort. How do I put it? I feel this is all external situations, but it's directly impacting internal and external in your world at the moment. So you're trying to move through the storm. Employment, such it can be, some of you are trying to move towards gaining more income. Some of you are trying to create that balance. Also, your work schedule correlating with family can be a dynamic at the moment. But it's an in general balance that you're wanting to get to. And because this isn't working, it's creating a lot of trigger points in you guys moving forward. I'm sensing, like, how do I put it? Try and release the burdens, but it's more emotional and mindset because we do get very dense in the 3-day. If you're being very critical towards yourself and there's no solutions, try and detach from it and just try and get balanced temporarily. Even if that balance means detaching from the outcome or detaching from the problems directly involved. Do some breathing exercises. Go and walk if you need to, especially if you're not in an intimate connection and you're feeling very highly energetic. To exercise, you're actually alchemizing that energy and it's going to get you balanced. Now, in the depth of the emotion that you feel for this connection towards your twin, there's a lot of healing going on, and that is what's working for you at the moment. That is the balance. Both you and this person, either individually or collectively, which is dual energy, you're healing, but you're also healing your masculine and your feminine frequency. What isn't working at the moment with the way you guys are healing is external to yourselves, is either on your side of the fence or their side of the fence. There's a lot of tying up of loose ends. So it can be at times when those things are coming up with the imbalance, be it that you're in communication or not, is causing difficulties because it's about ending a cycle, especially at the 0-degree mark. So don't be critical and don't get too into the depth with the 3D of going, well, visually I'm not seeing it, so therefore it's not happening. Energetically, you guys are interlinked. So vibrationally, it's tying up loose ends. You know, what are we taking with us? What can we fine tune? What can we get to a point that we can bring that balance back? And even the work we do on our side of the fence energetically will affect what's happening on the others, even if you're not in direct connection. Now, if your twin or you have a child in the family domain, this can be your brother, sister, mother, father, karmic's child, mother or father, however it relates, that's directly impacting it at the moment. In the beneficial point, there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of understanding, there's a lot of negotiation. But what isn't working in that situation is you guys are not having, you know, it's like separating from the situation. Sometimes it can be that you feel separated from the direct dynamic. It can also be that the separation caused conflict, therefore the stability is trying to come back. But what isn't working is feeling that you're not having enough time with counterpart at the moment and you're waiting very patiently. So I'm going to pull a clarifier on that because that's really interesting. I'm going to tune into it a little bit further. It can be in the karmic's eyes that for them, oh, okay. Yes, and I have actually had a lot of downloads that a lot of you energetically, and this is in any twin flame connection, a lot of the downloads that you're getting is directly the karmic frequency, and I mean the karmic mother or father. whereby they are having energies of understanding the detachment and the fact that a cycle is ending. So what's not working is on the other side of the fence, them feeling that this is not a connection. I think they're not looking at it correctly. They're thinking it's a temporary thing. So they're actually getting quite triggered by it. But they don't understand that the lack of loyalty and, how do I put it? If they have left a karmic situation, there is no love in the connection. And before, it may have triggered them to be manipulated or, but what's not working is stopping them from separate from what's not vibrationally correct for them. So even if energetically they're there, mentally and spiritually they're not. So it's a matter of time before that kind of spills out or conflict arises. Potentially around the 20th, with where astrology is going, it can be a very toxic time for karmic relationships. Even those of us who are in a singular kind of basis where we're doing the work, or within a connection directly connected to our twin, or just a karmic relationship, it's a very difficult time if you're not seeing eye to eye. So in fact, if this is not divinely guided and they're not supposed to be with a karmic energy or directly dealing with a karmic energy, a lot of conflict's going to come up. And again, it can be at a lower or high vibration if they're directly understanding that this has been an ongoing cycle that inevitably is going to end. Because a balance needs to come, and that can be for family members, for mother, father, brother, you know, children of the situation. I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, they've lost faith in the situation. Some of them might be looking at it going, well, you know, can I do something when it comes to the family-related dynamic? Can't I? Am I just step forward? Am I just step back? So they don't quite know where they belong in assisting with the balance of that situation because the other parties aren't working with them. Very separate to you, Libra. It can be that you're directly dealing with a karmic and there's issues with co-parenting. But if you do have a twin and they're co-parenting, it feels as though there's a dynamic there and a push-pull for those of you who that's relevant. Can also be a mother-father dynamic where it's just, you know, not gelling. Now, other people, how they're influencing your energy. It can be a lot of instability, but that is what's working for you. So any instability that's coming towards you and your twin, you're moving above it and beyond it, and so is your counterpart. So what is working for you is standing up and actually being in your truth, but not being that aggressive energy. Sometimes we do get triggered, and it's not that that's bad. As long as you're getting to a point where you're speaking your truth and you're saying, hey, I'm very concerned about X, Y, and Z. This is really imbalancing me at the moment, and I have unconditional love and understanding towards you, but I must have love and respect for myself, and this is making me slightly anxious. So, you know, if you're needing to talk, pick the right time, whomever it's with, because, you know, in your twin flame path, it just doesn't correlate directly with your twin. Any energy that comes towards us is there to educate us, to prepare us, to help us grow. So those individuals are still directly connected to your twin path, and you can't discount them. You know, we do segregate everything into key boxes where it's karmic, twin flame, you know, divine masculine, divine feminine, and that's it in high vibration soulmate. But we are outruling other energies that are there to help us on our path. And these individuals externally to you that are triggering you and causing imbalances are what's helping you to create that balance. So it's like universe is almost saying, okay, we can see where there's an instability, but feminine or masculine is not directly taking accountability or taking steps, or karmic energies are not taking steps and they're blocking the movement forward. So these catalyst events occur to actually help the balance come back because things weren't shifting. So it's almost like the laws of the universe coming in to actually take divine action. Now, what isn't working? Having too much compassion for people that, how do I put it? And this is a real hard one. People might be taking you for a pushover or your counterpart. So what isn't working is not being assertive. Now, it doesn't have to be that you're going to have a fight. That's not what I'm saying. It's if somebody is not respecting boundaries, and I feel this isn't about masculine and feminine. I feel this is very much external. This can be in your own life, Libra, and it can be in your masculine's life. So both of you individually are not, how do I put it, are having people disrespect your personal space or your personal belief system. So individually, both of you are working in that area. And it can also be, again, coming back to children, coming back to karmics, where you're trying to see the bigger picture to create that balance. And you're seeing that, but it can potentially be delaying certain inevitable events from coming 360. Don't get up in your head too much about it, because I do feel, you know, although that's perhaps potentially advice for you to just look at a little bit, regardless, universe will assist you to get there. So don't get up in your head too much about it. I'll pull a clarifier regardless. You know, we can be mindful. So it's, you know, I wouldn't say keep your guard up, be mindful. You know, and it is, okay. Understanding. Okay, if there is a karmic involvement and there's disputes going on in relation to balance and family and situations like that, you know, although you're trying to be understanding, it can be directly connected to an ex or a karmic. It's not working for you, so it's causing a direct imbalance. It can be in relation to children, or it can be in relation to work. But whatever you feel is coming through, any testing point where you're having too much understanding, you're feeling like you might be hanging on by a thread, and that can be for some of you. Have your healthy boundaries. Don't feel that if you need to speak as an adult that you're going to be punished, because ultimately, if you get to that point where you go, hey, I've got understanding here, it's only if you feel boundaries aren't there or respect isn't there. And that can be within your own life, on your side of the fence, on your twins, or very external. So yes, obviously, you know, have the compassion and understanding. But I think a lot of Librans at the moment, both twin flames and not, are going through a mass transformation. I do feel the energy is shifting. I'd say I'm seeing August. It's still changing next month, but I see things being extremely different for you guys by August. I just had August flash in my head. You know, you feel the vibration that the energies are shifting, but it's more the 3D at the moment that's saying, okay, is something shifting? What is it going to look like? And you're trying to keep having that understanding towards the process and the journey. Now, the unseen of what's coming is career is going to be doing well. Movement is going to be doing well. Things that you manifested that you didn't even think you could have, they're coming 360. So you may potentially have a few surprises coming your way that you didn't see. This can be both connected to your twin and also connected to a surprise, I'm saying. Yeah, that, you know, the lower vibration things are moving away, and it is from someone who is being very honest. So this is a higher vibration person. You had been waiting for this thing quite a while. Okay, what is this thing? I'm not surprised. Consistency and taking it to the next level, potentially reunion, engagement, marriage. And that's for those of you who it's relevant. That's the unseen. And it doesn't have to be that it's happening this month. You know, we do try not to get to 3D. Try not to get to the point where you're saying, it's a piece of paper, you know, we're getting married. No, you know, it is a spiritual connection whereby it does feel energetically like a marriage. So it can be where you're opening up to each other more so, and it's feeling that it's flowing, or you are connecting in with someone at that level. I am vibrationally feeling, though, whatever both you and your twins' belief system is, you're going to find that medium ground to find that happiness and take that situation to the next level. But it's due to consistency, and it can be that energetically, if that's an alignment for you when you're moving that way, be it now or be it moving forward, that's where the connection's going. Your twin really wants changes in their life. They don't want everything to stay stagnant. They're tired of that too. They can be moving home and they feel stuck. They're wanting this movement. They want both of you to be free. They want the freedom to be individually themselves as well as with you. They're really reflecting back on any foolish decisions. They also don't want to be foolish, and they feel they're being pulled in two directions, and it can be doing two jobs or dealing with two energies, two direct situations. And again, nodes in Cancer and Capricorn, work and family, you know, all of us collectively are dealing with that. So it's like they feel like they're being pulled in two directions, but they're bored of this cycle. They want to get off the merry-go-round. And I kept hearing merry-go-round over the weekend. They want this unity with you, but they also know it's going to cause gossip. As I said to my twin, God, we always cause gossip. Yes, and the sweetheart is aware of this. This can be an ex that is aware of it. And it can be they want to be with you. They're looking also back at, how do I put it, the past of where you guys met and how you guys met and what they want to do moving forward. But there can be gossip in relation to it, and it can be that they're keeping the cards quite close to their chest. They're wanting this to come correct. I don't feel this is a new karmic energy. I feel this is old energy. They're also communicating with family members in relation to their plans. And they want to have that fresh start with you. They want to turn over a new leaf. What you need to know. You're also dealing with any aspects of, hey, can this succeed? Hey, you know, where have I gone wrong in the past? You know, potentially what happened between your connection. You're assessing those things. You're looking at it. It can be a very nervous energy where you're like, are we going? Are we staying? Or what are we doing? Am I going to hear anything? Is this moving forward? A lot of downloads. And again, the astrology is connected to almost 2010, potentially even last year at the same time. A lot of people were within twin dynamics were coming in and out of union. So some are coming back in to go through a transformative state. Others were directly having breakups whereby they went into karmic connections and went through the dark night of the soul and a lot of transformation. I feel you guys are reflecting back and you're looking at it and going, wow, you know, I've actually gone through a huge uphill battle, and I really do feel Librans really have been through the ringer. Many of you won't recognize Librans anymore because they're not going to be that same way of being. And I feel it's more to do with astrology than the direct zodiac sign. I feel they're really shifting energetically. So it can be where people aren't used to Librans saying yes or Librans saying no, you know, to certain things, because the balance was more for others and understanding direct compassion and love. And it's, you know, it has to be fair and it's got to be balanced. And that's very much Librans' mindset. But you're also being honest. You're looking at it from an external point of view as well as an internal point of view. Again, which is Libra. But in the past, regardless of that, you may never have said anything. And now I feel you guys are taking direct action and you're really like, yeah, listen, I'm done. I can't. I want to, like I used to, but I can't. And it doesn't have to be connected to your twin. It's in general, you guys as a whole really transforming. You picked up the pieces like Humpty Dumpty. You know, you've got up, you've dusted yourself off, you've kept going. And you know the strength in you. You know you can do anything. You know the love that you have, but you also know that you can't run a ship on your own. You know, it's not. It needs to be a team action. So it can be very humbling when you're coming to that point, a resolve of the frequency to the point you're saying, hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. Let me forgive myself for this time frame and understand that things are a process. And the fatigue and the death of ego almost with the frequency, it's that purge and a new, and you know, sometimes they say it's a new karmic cycle. Karma is good and bad. You know, you guys have just moved out of the frequency of a 10 to a 7-year cycle. You're moving into a better frequency now. So rest assured things are going to get better. They're just different, and it's scary moving into that different of what this twin flame journey is going to be. Yeah, you're really recouping at the moment. You're really needing to have a little bit of rest, but it can be that you've got way too much going on. You're also wanting to recoup to assess things. Your intuition's off the Richter scale at the moment. You also intuitively may feel that what you're moving towards is a high vibration union. Now, some of you may energetically feel the energy behind you. Others of you might actually be feeling as though you can sense it coming. You tend to get your sixth sense. You'll see 411144. 111222, but then you'll detach and there'll be other situations going on where you'll sense their frequency. And it's usually when you've had a massive battle with your ego and you're detaching, it physically starts moving towards you. Now, between you, interesting. The first thing that's coming through with both these cards, I feel it's almost on both sides of the fence with your twin and you. One or the other may have had frequencies of jealousy previously. One or the other may not have been as motivated as such. And both of you are doing work on your blocks right now in a very quick fashion. So it can be old trigger points coming up. But again, I do feel it is about you looking at yourself, how much you've changed, and potentially how you're moving forward and what that's going to look like. I can't believe where the time's gone. Where has the day gone? Honest. I mean, I'm literally talking to the screen, but I wish I could see your comments. Okay, some of you are really scared. You're really nervous. You're like, okay, if I take my guard down, is this going to be okay? If twin comes towards me and I take my guard down, is it going to be okay? Because you're facing the paradigms of what you've learned in the past. But you also know they can't define you. And if they do, it's the egoic experience where we're letting it govern ourselves. You know, if we physically feel strong enough, and we choose it, we must be in the moment with that situation. But there are fears that comes with that. So it's asking you to be fearless, and it might be you've released that. So at a high vibration level, being in reverse, it can be that you've actually accepted, look, whatever comes, comes. There's nothing you can do. You can on your side of the fence, but you can't control other people. Do believe that things are changing. You do have a little belief. And again, world within worlds. It's like, yes, you can bring your worlds together, even if they look completely different. But it's about what you're willing to do, and how. And I can't say flexible, because twin flames are flexible, especially feminines. Through the transformation, it's horrendous. It's merely due to the astrology, understanding that at the 0 degree point, it's created a cycle, it's coming full circle. We're now starting a new chapter, and to move forward, it might make us feel anxious. So have that understanding towards yourself of what's coming towards you, because it can be a super surprise, and this is really what I'm feeling, especially with the unseen. It can be direct contact with your twin, word through the grapevine in relation to karmic endings. Changes, but don't take everything on the 3D so gospel. You know, hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Wait for things to dissolve and resolve. Even if your twin was in a long-standing karmic connection and bang, they jumped into another karmic connection, that's not going to last, because they haven't given themselves time. That's rebound. You know, step back, allow them to discover what's correct for them, because always it will be shown to them. Because if they directly feel love towards you, you can't make people love you. If the spiritual connection's there and they're in love with you, they will move towards you, and you will need to do nothing but your healing, so you're vibrationally open. If it comes to a karmic and they've gone into that, you need to understand that that situation is going to aid the dissolving of the codependency. So it's going to assist you. It's not going to hinder you. It hurts like bloody hell, but to just let go and trust that that's a process that's temporary. And the quicker you let go, the quicker it dissolves. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I cannot read any questions, but hopefully the next time I do live, which hopefully will be soon, I'm just going to quickly get my lunch at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I will be back again to do another video. We're getting there. I will be back.